Everybody, it's Mary, and I'm right back here with more of 30 Days of Inspiration. And I can't go and end this month unless we talk about one very important topic. Especially, I find this especially true for women, and that is talking about your money story. We women, we come from all different backgrounds, from all around the globe. We have many different experiences of watching our mothers. We're at different ages, and different ages reflect different beliefs around money and women. So I wanted to take this session, this time, this video, and just have you reflect on what your money story is and give you some tools that I have used to help me in understanding my money story. So I saw my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she was really, wonderful at it, and always kept the house warm and welcoming for us to come to after school. But in her heart, I'm not sure that if she was born in a different time, if that's what she would have wanted for herself. So in looking at that and how she depended, what I saw growing up was how much she depended on my father, who was more than willing to take care of her, but she was totally dependent on him. And when he passed away, she was lost. She was lost, had no idea how to handle money, who to trust, what to do with it, what to think about it. And I looked at that and thought, I just don't want that for myself. So I had to do a lot of work around my money story. So I'm going to share with you some tools that I have used, and I have two favorite books. One that I'm going to talk about right now, which is Emma Gannon, she's a brilliant writer. If you don't follow her, which her book is called this book is called The Multi-Life, and I will put that link in the description below. But she has a chapter in here on money because she struggled with money as a writer. She struggled with her worth and whether or not this was a worthy profession for her. And I think that as women, a lot of times we think that, like, is this worthy? I have a family. Should I be staying home with my family? Should I be working? Can I do both? How do I manage that? What do I do? What does that mean about money? What happens when I make more money than my spouse? How do we navigate that relationship? All of these thoughts around money, we tend to have these conversations with ourselves mainly in a negative way. And that doesn't do, that's those kind of conversations just don't do anybody any good. So I really like this, how she opens the chapter on money, what she's referencing another writer's book called Bad with Money by Gabby Dunn. And she says that Gabby Dunn says that whenever she goes into a workshop, when she works with people on money, she asks them two questions, and see if this is true for you, because I think that this is kind of where it all starts. The first question is, what's your favorite sex position? What's your favorite sex position? And number two, how much money is in your bank account? And she has found that what happens is that everybody pipes right up, laughing, feeling good, jolly about and spouting out what their favorite sex position is. But when she asks people how much money in the bank, she gets crickets. There's not an answer in the room. And I think that is part of where it all begins, is that many of us were brought up not to talk about money, not to ask about money, not to know about money. And we end up in this cycle of guilt, shame, fear, embarrassment, guilt, shame, fear, embarrassment. We get it, we lose it. We get it, we lose it. We get it, we spend it. We get it, it leaves us just as soon as it comes. So I think that in this 30 days of inspiration, I wanted to give you a little bit of inspiration about maybe if you have a money story like I do, like many women do, that it's nothing to feel shameful about, but it is to be understood. And you have to go about asking questions of these stories that you have. She said, I wanted to be financially literate, but there just wasn't an opportunity for me in school to even gain that knowledge, which is kind of silly if you think about it, not to give young people financial literacy. And she goes on to say that money is a language. It's also something that you need to practice getting good at. No different than if you're a sports person, practicing your tennis or practicing your baseball or practicing your yoga. Yoga is called a practice, but would we ever talk in those terms about money? Money, I've got to practice it so that I can get good at it. I think that sets aside a lot of the negative talk that you could have about money toward yourself. If you look at it as money is a language, and it's also something you need to practice. So along with Emma Gannon, there's another wonderful writer and woman that has a course on the art of money, her name is Bari Tessler, and I'll put her information below, her course and her book, which totally helped me out, and as well as my husband. We had a great time with Bari Tessler's book. But Emma goes on to talk about what's enough. What does enough mean to you? Because that term enough means something different to everybody, just like the term success means something different for everybody. So how can you look at money and own your enough money as how much that you feel comfortable with? What's your enoughness? She also talks about how most millionaires have 7 streams of income, and that in our money story, a lot of times many of us were brought up that your person in your life, the breadwinner in your life, for me it was my dad, the breadwinner in my life had 1 stream of income. That's how I was brought up. 1 stream of income, one way to look at the money going in, and then it goes out. But in today's world, we don't have to think that way. There are many different ways for us to accumulate wealth, accumulate money, all legal, by the way, and all very above board and very relevant for today. So if you looked around you, then what is it? Sharing your knowledge, opening up an Amazon store, selling affiliate products. There are many ways that you can bring in extra income as what's called a side hustle. The other thing she says, I think this is great. So she says, when you are going to ask for a raise, or ask for, if you are an entrepreneur and you are setting your prices for your services, this is what she says, quote unquote, you should ask for the highest number you can utter without actually bursting out laughing. Now, I think that that's great because it sets you like on that, like that shaky ground of, seriously, what? Who's going to do that? when in all actuality, there is a unique gift that each one of us has. And we should all go about asking for that raise or asking for that hourly rate that we can, that highest number that we can utter without actually bursting out laughing. I think that that's a great lesson. I think that that's something to have in your mindset when you're going into your boss's office or you are speaking to your next client, for instance. So she talks about how much do I want? How much do I want? That's a perfectly legitimate question to ask yourself. What is my personal level of enough? Because we'll get to that point of being fearful of the amount of money that we are bringing in, because we have it set in our psyche that that's the number that's enough for us. But what if you began to work on your money story and looked at where that ceiling was to push it up a little bit? Working out how much is enough is in practical terms means first figuring out how much you need in order to live each month. Do you know that? Do you know that? That's like basic step number one. Even if, for instance, if you're a woman and you are listening to this and you are a stay-at-home parent, you are not working for for whatever reason, you wish to stay home, you are having health issues, you're going to school, what is your number? Know what these numbers are. This is very important. You want to own them because you want to be part of it. You don't want to continue to push this money story aside and make it a bad, scary, I shouldn't know it, I don't have the right to know it thought, because that simply is bullshit. Calculating this figure allows us to make future plans more easily. There is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you being part of your partner's life in figuring out what your future plans should be. Just because if you don't bring in as much money or you don't bring in any money does not mean that you should not be part of that conversation and part of that planning process. So you need to figure out where that story is coming from and begin to deal with that so that you can then come back to the table and start talking about money. So that's what Emma Gannon has to say about money. The other person, as I mentioned earlier in this video, is Bari Tessler. And Bari Tessler has a book out called The Art of Money. I first heard about this from Yoga Journal, and I think it was in 2014. I think that's how long ago this article was that has stuck with me all this time because it was so transformational for me, where she talks about creating your money map. And I'm going to link you to her book, her coaching program, as well as I've created a workbook to help you follow through this process, because I think it was brilliant for me. It was brilliant for my husband as well, because we wanted to make sure that we were on the same page with our money map. So this is a great way to do it. You do yours, he does his, and then you come together and look at them and try and meld them together for one money map going forward. And that was the first step, like Emma Gannon said, is to figure out your basics. What's your basic lifestyle? What do you need every day, every month, money coming in the door to survive? What's your survival mode? Now, survival mode is going to be different for everybody. All of this is going to be different for everybody. For instance, I'm not a Starbucks person, so I feel no need to go to Starbucks every day. But for some people, that's their basic, right? I don't feel a need to do that. I'm not, there's no need for me to judge or criticize somebody that's what they want. It just is what they want. So you stay in your lane, let everybody else stay in their lane. So what's your basic? What's your rent, your electricity, if you have an HOA fee, if you have a car payment, like what do you need basic to eat? How much, what's your food budget, your health budget, like basic. Take a look at that. You don't need to put any figures to it. Just write down all the things that are important to you in a basic lifestyle. The next thought is to take that up a notch and go up into a comfortable lifestyle. You want comfort. So maybe if you didn't put this in your basic, maybe you want to go out and get a pedicure. Maybe you want to get a pedicure a couple times a month. Maybe you want it once a month. Maybe you want to add a massage in. Maybe you want to be able to take your friends out to dinner, maybe, or buy them drinks, or maybe you want to, be able to buy things for your house or buy a new wardrobe, like up your wardrobe instead of buying polyester, you want to start buying cashmere, for instance. Whatever that is for you, just list all of those things down in that what would be your comfortable, what would make you feel really, really good about yourself in a comfortable lifestyle. Okay, you've got that down. Up it once more. What's your luxury? What is it? What's your ultimate lifestyle? If you had everything that you wanted, what's your ultimate lifestyle? Maybe you want to go on a month-long vacation. Maybe you want to travel around the world. Maybe you want to take the Orient Express. Maybe instead of a Mazda 3, maybe you want an Audi A4 turbo. What is that? What to you would mean luxury? Now, once you've done that, you can go and put numbers to everything. Go and itemize everything. Take the time to, you don't have to delve into it, like down to the penny, but take your time to really put money to these 3 columns that you have written. The interesting thing for my husband and I is that we found that the difference between our basic, or where we are right now, in our comfortable lifestyle, the difference between our comfortable lifestyle and our luxury lifestyle was small. And it was very eye-opening, because I expected, I don't know, grandiose. Like, I'm not a grandiose person. I'm not a luxury brand wearer, that kind of thing never interested me. So when we went to put dollars and cents to our comfortable lifestyle and our luxury lifestyle, I was quite honestly really amazed. Like, it's attainable. It really is attainable. Yes, we had to make some tweaks in our budget. Yes, we had to, stop doing some things. We had to move funds around to make sure that we were focusing on our investments or savings. So that's stuff that we could do. We didn't have to do anything, I don't wild, sacrifice anything. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything, but just those tweaks and what we did, I now can see that this luxury lifestyle is totally attainable. And we are laser beamed in on walking that path. So make sure that this money story, whatever your money story is, that you really take a look at it. Don't turn away from it, because ignorance that's something that only you can, that's your choice, right? But it's part of you. Again, whether you are not bringing in any income or whether you are working, there is no reason why you cannot have a seat at the table in discussing how you or your family are going to disseminate funds and what you need to do in order to move up the scale from basic to comfortable to luxury. Because I'll tell you, it's doable. It's so exciting to see that transition of us, and even as like a couple, like how much more solid we feel. Like there's no angst or trouble with money anymore. It's like you just know where to spend it, how to do it, like all of that thing. So don't let a bad money story, something that you've done, made a bad decision with money in the past, don't let that be your forever story. There's no reason for that. Go and use these tools that I've told you about in this video, and make sure that in 2024 you can change that cycle and begin to move up from basic to comfortable to luxury, because I so want that for you. Thank you for joining me today with 30 Days of Inspiration. We've got one more day to go, so I will see you right back here tomorrow for the last of 30 Days of Inspiration. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.